Crohn's disease flare-ups. How do you stop them? So my worst Crohn's disease flare-up was during Christmas. So the whole year leading up to Christmas, I was in a very stressful, toxic relationship where we fought a lot, and I was also on a very strict diet. I was psycho about food. I would flick off McDonald's if anything had seed oils, if the milk wasn't raw or organic enough. Like I would literally get super angry and start yelling at restaurants like, was this cooked in seed oil? I was a total freak. I was impossible to eat out with. Me and this girlfriend were fighting a lot, and I was going up to my parents' house for Christmas vacation, and somehow she wasn't supposed to go on the vacation, and we were fighting like crazy. She comes on the vacation with me up to my parents' house. I was so stressed out, I didn't want to come home from work for like months. And so here she is, up with me at my parents' house. And when we got to the house, we kind of made this deal with each other like, hey, we are not going to fight, and we're going to get along for this week that we're here. And then later that day, I could tell she was going to honor that agreement, and I could tell that she was getting along with everybody and she wasn't trying to push my buttons. So I was finally, like after 3 months of like intense fighting, like every day, I was finally able to relax about that. And then also, there was tasty food all around the house. There was candy and gingerbread cookies, and in my mind, I believed that these foods were super dangerous, but I also told myself like, you know what, I'm in good health, I've been eating super healthy this whole entire year, like I should be able to eat this stuff and not have any symptoms. And so the next day, the gut pain came, the diarrhea came, and the fevers came. I was so insanely sick. I hated the doctor. I was on the verge of asking my dad to take me to the doctor. I was in so much pain. This was the worst pain I had ever experienced. Now, what caused this flare? One might say that eating these illegal foods caused the flare, but why had I eaten these foods my whole entire life and I didn't have a flare until just this year? And why was I the only one in the house who had been eating these foods, eating the least amount of these foods, and had eaten the healthiest out of everybody in the house, and I was the only one who got sick? And now German New Medicine explains perfectly what was going on here. So I wanted to digest my video games, and my girlfriend was getting in the way of that. So for a whole year straight, my gut was developing extra gut cells to help me digest and absorb my video games. And now, when me and my girlfriend started to get along, because we made that pact, my brain said, okay, we no longer need these extra gut cells because she's behaving herself and not getting in the way of our video games. So, all right, we can let go of these gut cells. And then I started to eat. So the subconscious mind, which controls our gut, and it operates off of believed that I was eating a ton of bad foods and wanted to expel them from my body. And so it was this perfect storm of this conflict resolution and me eating all these bad foods. It was just the worst pain imaginable. What could I have done to avoid this flare? There wasn't anything that I could do to avoid this flare. Maybe if I had a time machine, I could tell myself like, hey, you're gonna have to deal with this conflict better, and you can't blame and absorb foods. But like the only thing I could have done in that moment of a flare, in which, what you might find yourself in now, the situation you find yourself in now, is all we can do is say, great, I resolved the conflict. My body's getting rid of extra gut cells. This fever is from the brain relay healing, where the intestines are controlled from. I'm not going to blame food. What I do is I take fever reducers to reduce the pain in the head. I put a cloth on my head, a cold cloth on my head, to reduce the pressure in my head, and I just try to relax, and I tell myself like, this will all be over when the body is done removing these extra gut cells, and that I need to deal with this conflict better. However that might be. There's a million and one ways to deal with a toxic relationship. Maybe it's our perspective that we perceive a good relationship to be bad, or maybe the relationship or the person is actually toxic and things need to change. Maybe I need to be a better man. Maybe she needs to be a better woman. Maybe both of those things need to happen. It really depends. What I have developed to help people find the conflict that's throwing their gut in and out of overdrive is my 13-day protocol. And it takes people day by day, Step by step, it gives them exercises to help them find the conflict, find the memory of the conflict, find those PTSD triggers of the conflict, resolve them so that we're no longer haunted by them, they're no longer giving us PTSD, and the gut can finally relax and stop going in and out of overdrive. Now, in the comments below, what I want you to do, go do it now, is comment when was your worst flare and what was really stressing you out at that time? Was it something with your family, brothers and sisters, job related, girlfriend, boyfriend related, marriage related, school related? What was something that was really stressing you out? And when we get the flare, it's when it got resolved. Okay? So go down below and make that comment. I'm really curious to see what stressful event was putting your gut into overdrive. My name's Mike the Healer, your gut guy. Go leave a comment because I answer all my comments.